is that when I think about upgrading this podcast, I like look at the content we put out and I'm like, this is gonna last another month or so. So there's no point.
You're so negative all the time.
Actually trying with this thing.
Yeah.
You're such a negative Nelly.
Every episode is garbage.
You're garbage.
Have you heard an episode? No. I don't
Dude,
blame you.
Estonia loves us, dude.
Estonia. Shout out Estonia.
Are we recording?
We are recording.
That's how you know it's good. You don't even know it started.
Yeah. That's tight. I love that.
We have a guest on today's podcast. Very funny. Too funny. I feel bad that he's on here. I asked him to come on, and then when he said yeah, I immediately was like, all right, you don't actually have to come on. He's
the weirdest.
We're not ready yet.
All
He's
right.
an actual comic. He doesn't wait to get booked on shows. He actually does shows.
You make it weird.
Yeah, you are making it.
How's that weird? That's a good intro.
That's a bad intro.
This guy I invited on the show, I told him not to come after I told him to come. I feel bad that he's here now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry in advance.
He's really funny. That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
You left
That's
that
all
up.
you needed.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
you could have said that and then mentioned his podcast.
Yeah.
Well, you're good.
And my name. He has not done that yet.
I was gonna let you introduce yourself.
Oh. I'm sorry I'm here. My bad. Sorry. Shout out Estonia, I guess. And any Eastern Bloc countries or whatever. Yeah, my name's Jeff Zenisek, and I have a show called Two Woke Boys. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Jeff Zenisek. And Two Woke Boys. TOO Woke Boys.
Very funny is an accurate description.
Yeah, that's not the weird part. It's crazy you don't understand what the weird part was.
How is it weird to be like, hey, I might have jumped the gun on this one?
Okay, you guys did invite me to do shrooms after this. Did you guys do it already? Did that already happen?
No.
Okay.
No, not yet. I mean, are you?
I can't. I can't. I've never done mushrooms, and I don't think going to see Avatar on mushrooms is a good first idea.
It's gonna be a problem for sure.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
Ben's a mushroom addict, dude.
I'm probably gonna freak the
I don't
fuck
do
out.
that junk, but
Start
Ben
crying.
loves it.
Yeah.
if it's too intense and it's a theater full of people, I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Especially, I don't know. I'll like someone's gonna shoot this place. I'm gonna start freaking the fuck out. But if it's a good movie and good story, I'll be encapsulated with whatever is going on the screen.
Remember last time you did mushrooms and you were texting me? You're like, I think I took too much. And I sent you a video. It was, what was it called? It was like
worst trip.
oh yeah, bad, scary trip video or something. Watch this to have a bad trip.
Wait, there's a video to have a bad trip?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
It's
then
just
it
like
said that.
spooky music and like spiders running across the screen and shit. It's just like stuff that you don't want to see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I watched half a second and I heard it was like the Halloween music. I was like, I'm out. I'm not doing this. I was like, you're an evil person. Why would you send that to me?
That is very Jackass or Joker kind of
Joker,
vibes.
dude.
It's Joker vibes.
I've been Joker recently.
Yeah, I like that.
Joker's the best, dude.
Mexican Joker.
He
The
rules.
Joker.
Yeah.
How you
I believe
been, Jeff?
they call those guys a foo. Yeah.
How's life for you? You've been going around doing comedy around the country.
Yeah, I've been touring a little bit, opening for JP Sears, that, and just doing my pod, shit like that.
It's nice.
Yeah, man.
Sounds like real hustle. What have you been doing, you fucking bitch?
Me, it's the same thing. I've been just doing mics and like a couple shows. I did a couple fun shows recently, but yeah, that's about it. I did a podcast. It's funny. Speaking of you being weird, you have a reputation on other podcasts in LA of being a weird guy who won't do podcasts. Like multiple people have been like, "Why? How come whenever we ask Ben to do a podcast, he's like, no, I can't. I don't do them. I'm gonna ruin it."
You have more than one podcast that you do, right? You do this podcast.
This is
the only podcast.
This is it.
Okay.
Well, one podcast man. Faithful. I know my limits. I'll fuck it up.
The amount that you hate podcasts, it's surprising that you actually have one, though.
I also love hearing myself talk. That's obvious. I like
Great
listening
for
to
podcasts.
I like listening to good podcasts. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I realize I don't have that in me yet. I'm not.
You're how many episodes into this podcast?
This is 15, I think.
15 episodes.
And we recorded some of them like 3 times, so
Yeah.
we're close to 30.
Nice.
You gotta know your limits. If the Lakers ask me to come play, I'm not gonna start. You know, let me come off the bench. You know, let me go with
It's
this.
crazy. You're comparing like Luke Wall's podcast to playing for the Lakers.
You never know. Someone could see it, and it's the right opportunity. I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah.
He goes to Lakers games, but buys seats as far back as possible, and then incrementally gets closer, so that he one day
eventually he's on the team.
bench. You know, yeah.
I'd feel.
It's great, dude. We're all like on the same level. Other people's podcasts. We're all just like, we're having fun.
I've heard a lot of open mic podcasts where I'm like, these are dog shit. Like,
There's like famous podcasts that suck.
Yeah.
There's like very well produced, great podcasts that are not good.
yeah, but that's like their thing is that they suck. But it's different if like one person on the podcast sucks. If everyone was like, who the fuck? What's wrong with this guy? Can't tell a fucking joke.
Yeah, but that's a comedy dynamic. One guy sucks and one guy's good.
Yeah, I want to
that's our
expose that I
dynamic.
suck at comedy.
It's like good cop, bad cop, I guess.
I'd rather only suck on this podcast than.
Okay. But you don't suck, so people want you on their podcast. You know,
I don't know why they want me on their podcast.
I wanted you on my podcast, but I'm doing yours for some reason, which is very weird. I asked you to do my podcast this week, and then I'm on yours now, and I don't have one of you on mine. So,
well, I respect your podcast so much. I'm not gonna be able to carry the torch.
you have to be on it.
Yeah. Jeff's like, dude, I could do this one for sure. This won't be a problem.
Yeah.
I still think Logan in blackface as me would be the best alternative.
That would be funny.
That
I have the Jamaican hat on.
We don't gotta go that far with it. You could just,
That's a bridge too far, apparently.
Just the
Blackface was cool, but the second you put on a hat, that's
that's cultural
bullshit.
appropriation.
That is garbage, sir. Yeah.
Oh, good golly, dude.
If the right podcast comes along, I will still say no to it.
It's funny how you're always down on yourself about this, but then as soon as you do a topic, you're like, this is the best topic. My episodes are the best. It's like you're so
Well,
like
I mean, you suck at research. That's it.
there's no happy
You
medium
do
with
research like a high school jock. You research like you were the star of the football team. I doubt you were, but you
Okay, I was.
you do work as if you were.
Guessed right. Nice.
You
Good
probably
guess. Back-to-back sacks to win the CF championship game. What up? What up, Coach Riddell? You're welcome.
you got back to back. You probably sucked sacks.
Back-to-back sacks. Got him out of field goal range. They missed a field goal. We won CF championship, dude. All the girls ran on the field.
At the missed field goal.
Literally, it bounced off the upright and they stormed the field. And I was the king, dude. I was the king.
Hell yeah.
It rocked, dude.
That does rule. That does rule. It's like winning a tennis tournament on a double fault. Like hits it in the net, then bounces it 4 times, hits it into the net again. Oh my God. The champion. Yeah.
Oh, man. Those were the days. Take me back.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
All right, Ben. What do you got for us
Maybe
today?
we should start. I was gonna share that Uber story.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot. I mean, it's not even an important story. I took an Uber the other day for the first time in like 2 years, and my driver, it reinforced. I was like, every once in a while, like an Uber will like make you like have faith in society again. It was one of those because the lady in the car was like this crazy, like 55-year-old white lady, and she picked me up from Melrose, brought me to bring me back out here, and we passed like the Improv, and she was like, "Oh, I used to do comedy like at that place." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "I do stand up comedy." She was talking about comedy, whatever, and she goes, "Who do you like?" And I named like Patrice, whatever, and she goes, "You know Richard Pryor?" I was like, "Yeah, I know Richard Pryor." She goes, "You know any of his albums?" I was like, "Sure, I'm a crazy nigga, whatever." And she goes, "You mind if I do a bit for you?" And she starts reciting like Richard Pryor for me, but she's like, "Do you mind if I say the N word? Because I gotta say the N word."
Wait a minute.
in order to make it authentic.
Wait. Can you describe this lady?
She's exactly what you. She had like frizzled hair.
Frizzled hair. Okay. Short hair.
Yeah, short hair.
Short frizzled hair, cut like not a natural human color.
Right. Yeah, well, like and she used like it was like she used like
blue,
rocks
green.
to cut her hair. Like it was like jagged edges all around.
It's what?
Like it was like uneven cuts around her
Yeah,
hair.
yeah. Like she cut it herself.
Yeah, or pulled it out, something like
Yeah,
that. But
probably pulled it out. Yeah,
Like
some
she had
of
to
it
break
pulled
it,
out.
yeah.
and she
What she could like the scissors got stuck in.
Yeah.
That's when she started pulling it out.
and she had
She's
like
using just like safety scissors to
Yeah,
cut it.
and then dyes it with Kool-Aid.
she was very hyped energy. Like she I don't like talking in Ubers or outside of podcasts, my podcast. And she clearly wanted to talk. She was like, there's a lot of problems in this country. Namely, I don't like how people, how we treat trans people in this. Like she had a bunch of opinions. I didn't give any of mine, but that Richard Pryor bit, she killed that shit.
She nailed it.
Oh my God.
She hit it solid.
I
so
gave her
funny.
permission to say the N-word because you got to give her permission. If someone asks,
You have to.
If someone asks in that context, they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I'm trying to do a bit. I want to do the bit justice. I got it."
Is that what would solve race relations in this country? Is if just everybody as a country were like, "Hey, can we say it?
Yeah.
Is it okay?"
Case by case basis. Yeah, you should ask if you can say it.
It should be on a vote.
We as a country are going to ask the black community, is it cool for us to say it?
It'd be cool if it was like state by state. So like in California, you can't say it. But
He has a states' rights thing going on. I like that. That's
Well,
cool.
did you see that California might like have to pay reparations?
I did see that.
That's if I pay that tax, that is me paying my tax to say the N-word. As soon as I pay that, I'm like, oh, I could say it now. We're even, dude. We're even for slavery.
For
Now I
sure.
get to say it.
I'm definitely going to karaoke right after I pay reparations.
No matter what the song is, I'm dropping the word.
Yeah. It could be a Vanessa Carlton tune. I'm still saying it.
It would be funny if I say it and then I get arrested for not paying my taxes. And
Yeah, you're just a tax fraud and a racist. Nice. Yeah, dude. I love that.
All right, y'all ready for some history?
ready?
Hell
Ready
yeah.
to learn some stuff?
So is this a history podcast or a conspiracy podcast?
It's both.
Okay.
We lag on conspiracies just because I don't know why.
Well,
Okay.
we've had a couple. We had the bombing.
Oh yeah, the dizzy gun. That was a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the Dizzy going on. Yeah.
Our first episode was a conspiracy. The battle
Like-
of the sexes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like a conspiracy that it was the first podcast because you recorded it like 9
Recorded
times.
it 9 times. I do have a couple in the works that might be like 2-part episodes because conspiracies they get crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they all lead back to the Jews, no matter what. So I gotta cut that shit out. Plus history, these guys are. It's fun that these guys are real and they're also insane.
Yeah. That's
you,
fun.
You said you're not a big history guy, so this might be a fun one. We'll
I mean,
see.
I like it. It's cool. I'm not like watch the History Channel guy or let me go to the library and read a history book. I don't.
Do you think I'm doing that? You think I'm going to the library and watch?
I don't. How are you getting history? Where are you getting this
You
shit?
Google it on your phone. What are you talking about?
Okay.
And you
still going to the library?
listen to a podcast or something?
Okay. All right.
You think I'm like doing like going book
I
by
don't
book?
know.
Like a
That's what it
magnifying
sounds
glass?
like. That's what I associate learning history about. I have to study a book of some sort. And I have to go to a school,
Yeah.
which is tough because I'm too old to go to school now. And they're like,
Ben
why
said-
are you here? I'm like, I need to learn some history.
Ben just has textbooks in his room.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was surprised there's no books in here. I thought we were going to be in front of a wall of books.
Literally a blank canvas. No, I mean it's. I don't know. I listen to a couple podcasts. I watch a couple YouTube videos.
Okay.
Find a couple conspiracy theories. All right, let's get into it. This is a fun one for me, I think. Have you guys ever heard of John Brown?
No.
John Brown.
John Brown.
It seems very common. It seems too
Sounds
common.
familiar.
To be
Yeah, well,
unique.
it's a very common name, I guess. John Brown is Bob Marley sings about somebody named John Brown, Sheriff John Brown.
Didn't he like do something during the Civil War?
Okay, all right, yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Anything from you?
Nothing.
All right.
Or like, wait, not, yes, like free slaves or something like that?
You getting closer?
Yeah.
All right, all right.
I feel like I learned about that when I was in like 7th grade or something like that.
Which is surprising. You're from the South. I'm surprised they taught you that slaves were
It was in West Virginia.
even
Yeah.
more shocking. Yeah,
Yeah.
that they taught you slaves were freed.
Yeah.
Jeff remembers because he was mad about it. He's like, "What the hell is this guy doing?"
Yeah, I didn't say it. Yeah, we learned about it, but I didn't tell you what they thought about it. They were like, this happened, and
When I
we're
lived in Florida,
pissed.
that was something. I lived in Florida for a couple years, and my cousin one time, because he moved down there with me, there was this girl he was talking to. He whatever got cool with her, and he wanted to introduce me, so he brought me over, and we started talking about. Cause we're from up north, so we were talking about like how the difference between the North and the South, and she was like, "Yeah, it's crazy because the South won the Civil War," and she was dead serious, like. And this is a black girl too. We were like, "What do you like?" It was like a record skip moment. We were like, "What are you talking about?" The North won, and she was like, "No, like she like doubled down. Like the South for sure won the Civil War." So from then on, I just assumed all Southerners didn't know.
or retarded.
Right.
Yeah,
No offense to you. Or
that's totally fine. I get it. I constantly have to defend the South, or not, depending on who says what. But
Constantly have to defend them from tearing down our statues, dude.
yeah, dude.
our heroes.
Yeah.
All right, so John Brown, born May 9th in Torrington, Connecticut, one of my guys. Born in 1800, he was the fourth of 8 children. Grew up in like a poor family. He described his parents as poor but respectable. He was from a young age he was hard to be around because he had such devout confidence in himself. He believed like from a young age that like he was like not like chosen. A lot of the guys we talk about in this podcast have like visions from God or whatever, or they think like they're like on a mission from whatever. He just believed like, oh, I'm the best human in the world right now. Like
he was Kanye.
Yeah.
He's Kanye.
Yeah.
He had Kanye vibes.
Yeah, or he might have been bipolar. They just had no diagnosis for it back
Once
then.
again, Kanye vibes. Yeah.
And his so he grew up in CT, back and forth between CT and Ohio. His dad was like a crazy hard worker because his father was killed in the Revolutionary War when he was like 12 years old. So he's been working for like his whole fucking life. So he just instilled like hard work and anti-slavery into his kid. His dad was also a big abolitionist, and he hated slavery to his core. So he
was his dad a slave or
so John, he's white. John Brown, everyone in his family is all white. But his dad just for some reason, he read the Bible, and in the Bible he like interpreted it as it's anti-slavery. That's how he took it. And then the U.S. Constitution is like all men are created equal. So he was like that means something to me. Like so he taught John and like all of his other siblings that like slavery and anything associated with it is the devil's work. You can't have it.
Yeah.
And they grew up. They were Calvinist Christian or whatever. And so they're
Calvinists.
Yeah, I remember learning about them.
What's a Calvinist? Is that like the fucking?
So they believe that
the newspaper like comic.
That guy, the Calvin,
that pisses on stuff. Is that the one that pisses on stuff?
I think so. Yeah.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Is that the one that's like pissing on like the Ford logo on a Chevy truck? Yeah.
That's who this
Calvinist, dude.
Pissing, worship that guy.
Pissing on my.
It is so Calvinists believe that we're all unworthy sinners at the mercy of a loving but sometimes wrathful God. That's their whole thing. They don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't dance, party, any of that crazy shit. They just pray.
The town in Footloose.
That's yeah. They're not having any fucking fun here. So 1805, they move out to Hudson, Ohio, which at the time was nothing, which I imagine is still the case today because it's Ohio. But it grew up. So Ohio at this time, it was a wilderness town, and then like within like 2 years, it became like the central hub for anti-slavery in America. It was like the capital, which this is what the report said. I think the biggest place for anti-slavery was probably where the slaves were living. Like the slave, they were probably the biggest anti-slavery.
Yeah, they probably weren't the biggest fans of it.
Yeah.
But
their vote only counted for 3/5 of a vote, so it's less than.
That's a good point. Yeah, when you factor that in.
Yeah,
that actually comes into play in this. So they go to Hudson. While in Hudson, John becomes like good friends with the town's founder, this guy David Hudson, who believed that like slaves should not be. The whole town was anti-slavery, and the founder of the town was like, yeah, slaves should not only not be slaves, they should fight back like with force, like with brutal like. Guns, whatever. Like that's the whole town was just like on one mission with this, like or one belief or whatever. Because it's a small town in Ohio in the 1800s. There's no school past elementary school, so John has to like go like get like tutored from like a local lady who's also an abolitionist who also hates slave owners and all that. I'm just trying to paint the picture that like his whole life he's just being taught that slavery is like anti-God, it's anti-human, like and if you do it you're like a sinner and from hell or whatever. So he's like riled up and hyped up to take it out. And the big thing that happened when he was 12 years old, he was working on someone's cattle farm, and a slave boy had messed up or something like that. And he watched the slave master beat the shit out of this kid for like 20 minutes. And he was like, why'd you do that to him? And the guy was like, because he's my slave. And John, from that point, said, I will be the one to abolish. I'm going to stop slavery. It became his mission to be like, I'll be the reason this is no longer a thing in America.
Wow. So you were saying that John Brown, yeah, whatever. So you were saying John Brown, he was just like all these people were telling him like slavery's bad.
From a young age,
he saw like a guy get beat, all that shit, which made me think of this, dude. He is slavery Batman. This guy is slavery Batman.
That was his parents getting killed in the alley.
Yeah, he saw the parents getting killed, or not his parents, but he saw a kid get beat.
Yeah.
And he was like, fuck that.
His pearls went flying.
Pearls went flying. He's like, I'm going to dress like a bat and fuck people up. Yeah.
I have to stop it, dude. Vengeance. I am vengeance.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Oh, so while they're in, I forgot to mention, while they're out in Ohio, his dad becomes very successful with one of his stores.
This is so Batman, dude. Successful dad.
He has a tannery, which is they tan animal hide. That's all they do there. Okay. He works. So
he's Cowman. Maybe he's Cowman.
That's Cowman. He's Batman.
And he somehow his dad hired, like, his dad works with Jesse Grant, which is the father of Ulysses S. Grant, which was the president. 1869 to 1877.
That's Alfred, the butler guy. Dude, if you tell me this guy lives in a fucking cave, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Well, they did have they did have a secret house on their property.
What the fuck?
This is the
Dude, it's
Batcave.
Batman, bro. He lives in the Batcave.
The dad was so wealthy and so anti-slavery that he built like a house in the back of his land. That was a safe house for the Underground Railroad, so they could help slaves.
Oh, the underground, dude. They were going to the bat caves to escape.
He did have a car, and it was shaped like a bat.
And this helps out. In 1808, his mom died.
Oh my god,
dude! It's
bro.
all coming together.
This is Batman, dude.
Hold up. All right, so when John is 16, he was like, I'm gonna go become a minister. That's his dream, whatever. That's his goal.
He's going to train with Ra's al Ghul
to learn the ways of the gods. So he leaves and goes to Massachusetts to become a minister. He was going to study at Amherst, but he got like an eye infection or something like that. His eye got puffy, so he couldn't. He had to drop out of school, go back to Ohio. So it's really just a story about like a college dropout who hates racism, as opposed to today's college dropout who loves racism. He 1820, he marries this lady named Dianthe. Very weird name. There's no photo of her, but he described her as, quote, a remarkably plain but neat, industrious, and an economical girl of excellent character, earnest piety, and practical common sense.
Dude, how fat is she, dude?
Dude,
he's like, there's no pictures. She looks okay, I swear.
Yeah.
She's not 10, but she's like probably 5.5.
She's devout.
If there's no evidence,
no pictures. Shut the fuck up about it.
No evidence, and you're still saying she's plain. She's disgusting,
Yeah,
dude.
she's so gross, dude. Yeah.
Saying she's economical is like a weirard way to describe your girl.
Yeah, what's
That's when she has nothing else going for her.
What's an economical chick, dude?
A Jewish girl? Anyway, so yeah, however she looked, the marriage lasted 12 years. They had 7 kids in the 12 years.
Dang.
It lasted 12 years because she died giving birth to the 7th kid.
He's probably like, thank God,
Yeah, I
finally.
think this fucking plain bitch, this plain economical bitch. How pissed would a girl be if you described her like that?
Plain and economical.
Fucking plain.
God, dude.
But maybe the
damn.
words back then were different, like how gay.
Damn, girl, you're so plain.
You're so plain and economical.
Damn, that chick's plain, dude. You see that plain bitch over there?
So, 1825, John, he worked with his dad at the tannery to make a lot of money. They're so into fighting for the cause of slavery. They bought 200 acres of land. And he built a cabin in another tannery on this plot of land, and they used this to funnel slaves and freed slaves, whatever, and get them to Canada. Between the years of 1825 and 1835, John is said to have helped over 2,500 slaves reach freedom to Canada. So
wow.
He is doing some good stuff. But his dad is the one who's like the real like business guy. John himself sucks at every business that he runs. It just falls. He fails and it fucks up. He becomes like a surveyor, so someone who just like surveys the land or whatever. Mm-hmm. He later becomes like a postmaster, so the person who just handles the fucking mail that comes into town. 1829, right? I don't know why this family. This is the wrong guy to ask, but 1829, this white family, they came to John. And they're like, hey, there's Native Americans hunting on our land. Come with us to kill them, so we can stop hunting on the land. John was like, that's racist. So instead, he joined the Native Americans and started hunting with them.
Who's Sean King? He's Sean King, Batman.
So that was 18,
And John Brown's white, right?
John Brown. What's up with you, John Brown? He is
John Brown.
Oh, I think you said Sean Brown. Sorry.
No, yeah, John Brown.
Yeah.
No, I said Sean King earlier.
Yeah.
He's
But-
also white, but
I
James
know.
Brown.
That's why I was making fun of him.
yeah, John Brown. Yeah, he's white, but all right.
And is this? I think I'm having a flashback to my 7th grade history. He's the guy. John Brown is the guy that did the raid on Harpers Ferry, right?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah,
Dude, you know
I
your
remember
stuff.
that. I'm fucking history expert, dude.
We're gonna get there, that, and that was insane. He was. I don't know what you learned or what you remember about that, but he was. He's all right. We'll get to it. He's a wild boy.
Yeah.
At this time in the country, though, so 1931. I don't know if you remember this, Logan, but that's when Nat Turner did his rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
When he was his whole thing. I'm gonna go from plantation to plantation. We're gonna free the slaves, whatever. Obviously, it didn't work, but it like set off a spark around the country. People were nervous. They're like, slave owners were nervous that the slaves were gonna start revolting, and
That was when the targets were burned down. That's when the Minneapolis Target was burnt down. Everyone's like, "Oh no, dude!"
Yeah, after a couple of auto zones go up, dude. Fucking we gotta watch out.
In 1833, John remarries this lady, Mary Ann Day. She's 17 years old. That's her whole title. That was all I could find about her. It was that she was 17 at the time that he married her.
That's better than plain.
She wasn't playing.
17 is better than plain.
You don't need to say anything else, I guess.
It was probably like, she's 17. Like,
yeah.
They were going to have 13 kids together.
Dude.
He's devout.
Oh my God. This guy's, 20 kids now?
Yeah, 20 kids. But to be fair, only like 10 of them make it to adulthood.
And his wife dies every time they have like 6 or 7. So,
so he sucks at every fucking job that he has. They leave. They went to Pennsylvania for a while. They leave. They go back to Ohio. He becomes a bank director. This made me laugh. So he becomes a bank director, and the bank at first is like crazy successful. Like, they make a lot of money, and then he got too big for his britches, and he got really into like credit, and he bankrupted the bank. He went from being worth like $500,000 to $10 over the course of like 4 days.
God.
he fucked the bank up.
So he invested the bank's money with using credit, whatever.
Okay.
This was a big thing that was going on at the time. It actually it was called the Great Panic of 1837.
This was like FTX and Bitcoin.
Yeah. This was the first version of it.
Batman,
He's like, oh,
FTX.
fuck, dude.
Except he was running a bank when it happened, and he was, all right, I'll allocate our funds, whatever, and he just ruined the bank.
What did he buy?
He just
like wagon wheels or some shit. What did he?
I don't know what you could buy back then. He just mismanaged the credit. I don't know. I didn't get. He fucked it
Hey,
up.
plane bitches are coming up. That's what we gotta invest in, dude.
Invest in plain bitches, dude.
Yeah.
It was funny to me because he was handed like a silver platter of it. Like they gave him the bank because they were good friends with his dad and all this other stuff. They're like, yeah, just take this, run it, you'll be fine. It was easy money, and he just took it upon himself to fuck it all up.
Losing the money, has 20 dude. Also, if you have 20 kids, it is kind of hypocritical to be anti-slavery because you got 20 slaves right there.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're gonna tell everyone else who doesn't have any kids they can't have slaves.
But he's using
That's kind of fucked
He's
up.
saying the Bible says to be fruitful. It doesn't say to.
That's a good point. It says to make your own slaves and kill your plain wife.
Yeah.
So this begins like a bad string of luck for John. Every business he puts out fails because he doesn't know how to run a business. He believes in himself so much that he's like so confident that anytime a business fails, it's never his fault. It's always someone else did it to me. But he's too woke to blame the Jews. So it's just like nothing happens. It's just he starts a business, it falters, and he's like, all right, well, someone fucked up. It wasn't me. And
I like that.
His credit is completely shot, and he goes to jail a couple times for failing to pay back loans.
Nice.
To creditors, whatever. He declares bankruptcy in 1842.
Sick.
The very next year, 3 of his kids die back to back, like within 3 months of each other.
Does he even care? Is he like, whatever? It's like,
What was that one's name
17 now?
Yeah.
Like, down to 17.
And he's taking so many L's at this point. He's probably numb to it all.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's probably just like, thank God, those are 3 bills I don't have to pay.
Yeah.
So he becomes like an expert in wool, like in sheeps and all that crap. So like the wool industry. Because of that, Springfield, Massachusetts is like the capital of wool in America, right? So he goes to Springfield, Massachusetts. While he's out there, he ends up so he's bankrupt like back wherever he's at. So he goes out there. He meets Frederick Douglass. Obviously, we should all know who that is. Abolitionist, freedom fighter, all that crap. And he would attend these lectures at this church that Frederick Douglass would attend, and he would give these speeches about like anti-slavery, abolitionists, all this crap. But they were like fiery speeches. This was around the time of like the Great Awakening in America. So preachers and like ministers were using the Bible as a way to like fight. So, like this is like, and the Lord said that that crazy, fiery, like passionate. It was like the time of that. And John, being the kind of guy he is, he was like, I'm all about this. It's my message, whatever. He like talks with Frederick Douglass and he's cool with him. Frederick Douglass said after talking to John Brown, he was like, all right, I realize how crazy this like slavery problem is in this country. Because he's like, John is like actually like crazy about this. Like we're gonna need, if he's this insane, us just talking is not gonna get it done. We need like actual force or whatever. Yeah. But Frederick was too. He didn't want to be the guy himself to do it. While John is in Springfield, Mass, he turns it into like one of like the safe havens for abolitionists. It becomes like the safest city for the Underground Railroad, all this other crap. In 1848, he had to declare bankruptcy again, and he lost his family's house.
God, where's his plain bitch ass wife and his 70 kids gonna go?
So he heard about this guy out in the Adirondacks, the mountains out in New York or whatever. This guy Garrett Smith.
There's no cars. How is this guy getting around all these places? I didn't know people traveled that much.
Yeah, this guy's moving around.
I thought back then that you were where your parents fucked, and that's just where you lived.
Yeah, you just live in that town in Ohio. Yeah, you just
take a buggy, take a wagon or something. Or...
But I thought that was like Oregon Trail. I thought half your family dies.
Yeah, someone dies of diarrhea, and then you have to bury them or whatever.
Yeah,
you pay an Indian to like go across the water and it fucking tips over and you lose everything.
Yeah, and that's just like a 2-mile trip.
And you find out somebody dies by when your wagon tips over. It just a list of you're like you lost 40 boxes of bullets, 2 wagon tongues, and your son Jebediah. Like, and you're like, oh, that sucks. We gotta go though.
I think I have 16 more.
Yeah.
I mean that. I guess boats. You could use boats. I think they might have had trains at this time. We're starting to have trains.
I think trains were happening.
So I don't know. They're getting around from town to town.
Yeah.
But out in New York, out in the Adirondacks, there's this guy Garrett Smith who has he gives out land grants to poor black farmers, right? So John's like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna get a land grant and I'm gonna teach these black farmers like how to invest their money, how to develop real estate.
But the guy was giving out land grants to black guys. So did he blackface? Did he do blackface to get the land grant?
I think he just walked up and was like, I'm white and poor. Just you gotta do this to me. I don't know. Maybe he did do black.
Maybe. Yeah.
He does seem like a Rachel Dolezal type. He's so involved in the movement.
Yeah, he's very Sean King vibes.
I could see him doing that.
Dolezal vibes.
So you said he was helping black people invest their money?
Yeah.
After he just like bankrupted a bank, he lost a bank's money. He's like, let me show black people.
He might be he might be a undercover agent actually.
He might be
destroying the movie from the inside out. Mm-hmm. But while he's out there, it's like a paradise for him. And his vision was to have like a lot of communities like this all around the country, where it's a bunch of black folk just learning how to spend their money properly.
Yeah. A cookout.
Nice. Yeah, he was the first. He was the first wigger. Yeah, he was. If he was around today, he would have had
Batman.
Yeah.
So this is where the context of history matters, right? So in 1854, Congress had passed the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which was it led to those 2 states being introduced, right? But the biggest thing it did was it replaced the Missouri Compromise. The Missouri Compromise pretty much mandated that like every time there was a new state, that every state that was created had to offset the status of the previous state. So if a state was like, we're pro-slavery, the next state had to be anti-slavery. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's what it was before. So it was just balanced. But what the Nebraska what the Nebraska-Kansas Act did was that it made it so the states get to decide themselves. So it doesn't.
But it has to be like even.
Not anymore. Now.
But I'm saying like with that law,
the Missouri law, the Missouri Act, yeah, it had to be even. If there was one state came out, then the next state, whatever.
It's so weird. Our state's going to be anti-slavery, and they're like, you can't. There's too many.
You have to have slaves.
You have to do it, and then the state's like, damn.
All right, I
guess that we'll do that.
Fine, I guess we'll have them.
Yeah, guys, we tried, but I guess we just can't do it.
So because they changed it up. Now these states are like, they're like they could both become slave states essentially. So abolitionists and people who want people who are pro-slavery are both like, we need to get to these places so we can influence the vote or whatever and have the vote be in our favor.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people from Missouri flocked to Kansas. A bunch of Southern. So the Northerners or the freedom whatever abolitionists, they called themselves the Free Soldiers. And the pro-slavery, they called themselves the Border Raffins. So yeah, a bunch of Southerners from Missouri flocked into Kansas, and they pretty much stole the vote. They stuffed the ballot boxes, and they kind of killed some people to get them out of the voting area. And they declared themselves the winners. They're like, "Yeah, we won, but Kansas is a slave state."
Wow, holy shit!
John Brown and the abolitionists were like, "That's a bullshit vote. We don't count that. We won. This is an anti-slavery state." So now there's a civil war going on inside Kansas between these two groups, and it becomes known as Bleeding Kansas. That's what it's known as.
This is like what Hillary did.
Except for the entire country.
Yeah. Like what Biden did, dude.
Yeah. So John isn't there at this time. John is he's still out in Ohio, but he gets a letter from he has five of his sons went down to Kansas to be a part of this, and they sent him a letter like, "Hey, Dad, this is crazy. Like, they're being corrupt. Come down here and help us out." John's like, "All right, I'll be there, whatever." He shows up with like 5 rifles and like 2 pistols. He's like, "This will do it. This is enough to."
That's so. He sent down 5 Kyle Rittenhouses. Just like, "Dad, get down here, dude."
Yeah. Yeah, 5 freedom fighters to save the. I can't say that as a black guy. All right. John gets down there 1855, 1856. The main abolitionist center of Kansas was this place, Lawrence, Kansas. It's destroyed. The Border Ruffians, they like burn it to the ground. They kick out all of the abolitionists who were there, and the abolitionists didn't even fight back. Right? They went out like some suckers.
Damn.
This same day in Congress, this guy Charles Sumner, who was a big he was like one of the biggest abolitionists in the country. He was known as like he's like one of the guys, right? In the Senate, like on the Senate floor, he gets his ass whooped.
What?
There was another
by Congress dorks. Were congressmen always 100 or back then in the like? Because maybe it was them back then. You know, like everybody in Congress. They were like, if you go to Congress now and you're like, "Hey, remember when you whipped that guy's ass in the 1800s?"
It's the same.
They were like 20s. They were like in their
That's I mean, Andrew Jackson. That's how he used to like just have duels with people in the middle of fucking.
Duels are different than fights.
Yeah. Wait, but it was other Congress members that beat him up?
Powdered wigs are flying everywhere.
It was a representative from South Carolina.
I thought it was
wooden teeth are falling out of people's heads.
It was another congressman. Who,
I thought like someone stormed. I thought they almost pulled like what they did wanted to do to AOC when they stormed in there.
Nah,
like, yo, where's AOC? Let's fuck her up. Yeah. I thought it was that.
This was one of them. Yeah, he whooped. And Sumner was like an old guy.
God, that's even better.
Like,
that's so funny.
In his 50s, and the guy who beat him up was like in his 30s. It was like bullying, really.
Yeah.
But this happened, and then news of this ass whooping went back to Kansas, and John hears about this, and he's furious. He's like, "We look like a bunch of bitches."
God,
like,
that's so funny. It's even funnier because like back then, 50 was like 80. So imagine if someone just fucked up like.
And he was
who is
and I mean Sumner was fucked up. Like hey, cut it out. We're not doing that. It took him like months to recover from this. I think I read he never walked the same afterwards.
The guy that got his ass beat?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was never the same person afterwards, which is...
Fuck, dude. That's crazy.
it's politics, baby.
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, John is tight, and he's like, all right, this is the time for us to fight back. But now we're actually gonna use force. Fuck being like peaceful, whatever. Like let's be crazy. So May 24th, 1856, John and his 5 sons decide to take matters into their own hands, and they enact this thing called the Potawatomi Massacre. So John knows where like a bunch of like slavery supporters live in his town. He's aware of like because they're all in Kansas, whatever. So he and his sons they go to like these like prominent houses of these like slave owners or these slave whatever supporters, and they pull them out of their house and they just like stab them in the streets. And they kill them in the streets. They start like chopping their heads off. Like him and his sons just go around from like house to house.
Holy shit.
And like there's a couple other abolitionists who were fighting with them, but they go around and just start killing guys. They end up killing 5 people in total. That's a massacre. It still counts. And this started a wave of violence all throughout Kansas. So before this, in the 2 years before this, or in 8 years before this, there were 2 killings associated with like slavery politics, right? 3 months after this, there were 29 killings.
Man,
he became the Joker, dude.
Yeah,
we're back. I had that wrong. So yeah, in 2 years before this, there were 8 killings associated with slavery politics. 3 months after this, there's 29 killings. Chaos breaks out in Kansas. John's son is kidnapped. John Jr. Gets kidnapped throughout this time. A couple weeks later, his other son Frederick is shot and killed in a battle against pro-slavery soldiers. There was a raid, and John and his men were outnumbered 7-1. But they managed to. John was able to direct them.
Is that how many it actually was, or was this like a scaled down number?
It's scaled down.
Okay.
I don't know what the exact numbers were, but John had like 15 guys with him. They managed to kill 20 of the raiders, and they wounded another 40. So there were at least 60 of them out there, I guess.
Wow.
And on September 7th, John had, went into Lawrence to like meet with like some leaders of the movement to like help fortify whatever, help strengthen the resolve. And he noticed at this time they saw that there were 2,700 like soldiers coming in from Missouri and a bunch of soldiers coming in from Baltimore. Like the anti-slavery or the pro-slavery movement was like ramping up, and John was like, all right, we're gonna need reinforcements to take care to help us out in this fight. So this is where Harper's Ferry comes into play. So John's plan is like, all right, we're not gonna fight this war by ourselves. The slaves are gonna fight this war. It's gonna be a full revolt. Or I guess a race war in that sense. But he's like, all right, we're gonna need a bunch of guns to power this revolt. How are we gonna get these guns? I can't buy them because I'm fucking poor. I can't make them, and I can't like order them because then it's obvious that something's going on. So there's this place, Harpers Ferry, in Virginia, right? His plan is there's estimated 100,000 guns at Harpers because it's an armory for the U.S. Army. Mm-hmm. So his plan was, I'm just gonna rob the U.S. Army. That's the only like entity that could have this type of weaponry, or whatever. So 100,000 guns. His plan is to go there, capture it as a fort, and then word of the revolt will spread around the country.
So he thinks he's gonna go there with no guns to this building that's just to hold all the guns for the country. Which I'm sure is guarded by more than like a master lock combo lock that is on a locker at a school.
It's not guarded by guys without guns.
Yeah.
I mean, this does all seem. So he goes to Frederick Douglass and he goes, "Yo, I got this plan. Help me with this plan." And Douglass was like, "No, I'm not doing that. That's a suicide mission." I mean, this plan, it sounds like white privilege to the upteenth degree. Imagine being a black guy and hearing that in like the 1830s, like just. All right, we're gonna go fight the government with their own guns. We're gonna break it.
There's got to be some people that were against this guy, and they were like, "Look, dude, you've bankrupted like banks. You suck at everything you do.
Your wife's ugly.
You're plain ass wife died after having 90 kids.
So up to 80 people knew about this plan. He was telling a bunch of people
He's
about
loose-lipped about it.
The Secretary of War for the United States knew about this plan. It got telegrammed out to D.C., but they were like, no one's this fucking crazy. No one's gonna do that.
No one's gonna storm the Capitol on January
we got
6th.
one of those. We got one of those guard gates with one 80-year-old guy at the door going, "Who are you?"
They have a Walmart greeter at the front.
Yeah, no one's getting past that. Walmart greeter and a guard gate. Get the fuck
Dude,
out
not
of
a
here.
chance.
Not a chance, bro.
So John in his head, he was like, we're gonna have like an army storm this thing. It's gonna be like 2,500 of us minimum. We're gonna, it's gonna be like a militia of us, and we're gonna show our strength. And then while we hold it down, we'll be reinforced by the slaves who are somehow freeing themselves on the plantations and then joining us. He didn't explain that how
that was gonna happen.
How the slaves were gonna all of a sudden become freed off of nothing. But
Everybody just mass walkout. Like, I quit.
We're done. It's
Yeah.
also funny to be anti-slavery and then be like, we need soldiers that'll fight for free.
Yeah. How do we get free labor for our military that we're doing?
they wanted 2,500 guys. They got 21.
Nice.
21 guys or 2,100?
21.
Okay.
21.
It's a little short. He could have just got all his kids, and that would have been more than that. So none of his kids wanted to do it.
5 of them were his kids.
Even better.
Yeah.
What's even funnier is that a bunch of them didn't come.
Yeah, you gonna go help Dad raid the thing? Nah, dude, I got a skateboard.
Dude, my dad
I'm gonna
gets
go
so...
shred the gnar.
Dude, how pissed would your dad get, like, if you had to, like, clean the garage or something and you wouldn't go out there?
Oh,
Imagine if he was
dude.
storming the Capitol.
That's my dad's big thing is, like, he will do house chores, not tell me about it, be gone all day, and then be like, oh, you didn't help at all. I'm like, you didn't ask.
Yeah, dude, same.
I also don't live here.
That's what dads do.
Yeah.
God, that's
They go
so
work on the garage and they're like, oh, I've been welding all day or whatever the fuck they do in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was funny also is that this is an anti-slavery raid, but it's more white guys than black guys. It's 5 black guys.
This is a BLM march.
Yeah. This is full BLM, dude. With Kyle Rittenhouse's. Yeah.
And they captured it.
They did it?
They captured it with no problem.
That's so crazy. Like, if you way undershoot your goal of 2,500, that was the goal. If you're like, yo, we got a goal, 2,500. That's all we need to raid the military base. How many did we get? We got barely enough to play a softball game.
Dude.
Should we still do it? Yes, we should.
Yeah, if you're playing a football game, you need one more guy. You need a quarterback to play on both teams.
And no refs, right? There's not even refs. Yeah.
No crowd. This is for the love of the game. At
Yeah.
this point.
Oh my god.
That's wild, dude.
But they captured it. There was one.
How bad was the military back then? They sucked.
They were
Also,
so
why was there
bad.
100,000 guns in there? Was there even that many people? Why is there that many guns?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do they carry those things out? They
They
just walk out with 21
we're
guns?
just going to keep them in there. And we just tell everybody that we got a big
We did
building
it.
full
That
of
was cool,
guns
right?
that's protected by a Walmart greeter and a fucking sometimes working ticket thing.
Yeah, it was one guard guarding it.
Dude, they didn't even have the Walmart greeter to size up people and look at your receipts on the way out. Hey, did you bring those 100,000 guns in here? Can you show me a receipt?
Oh god. Imagine how much that must have sucked to be that one guard. You're like, oh fuck, dude. Here they are. 21
we
guys.
should have got 2 guards. Damn, if we had 2 guards.
We just wanna,
I can't use all the guns at once. I thought I was protected by having 100,000 guns here, but I can only use one.
Oh, I can't even use one.
They
Dude,
didn't
they're all
even give me
inside.
one because then they were like, we'd only have 100,000 guns if you let us put it in there. So they gave me this like stick.
He has a nightstick.
Yeah, they're like, look, man, we can't have 999,999 guns in there. That's terrible. That's not a good number. We need 100,000. So
more.
just give us the gun, and we're gonna keep it in there. It's gonna be cool, dude.
Dude, you take this
It's
pepper
way more
spray.
intimidating. Yeah, you get a pepper spray. Yeah.
So they captured the building. I think they killed that guard. Get the building.
Aw.
They cut.
If I was the guard, I've been like, you can just have it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just can I be on your guys' team?
Yeah.
I'm outnumbered 21 to me.
Good news, guys. I opened the gate.
as the army gets in there, hey, yo, guys, guess what? We got 22 now.
Yeah, so they captured it and they cut all the telegram lines in the town, so that way nobody could like ask for help. They also kidnapped Lewis Washington, who is the great grandnephew of George Washington, and he was a colonel at the time. They bust into his house and just took him and brought him into the. It's a small team, big heart. They got word out to the local slaves in the area, like, hey, what they were doing, and they were like, we'll wait to see how this plays out before we come. Like they stayed on the plantations because they were like, we know, like these white guys are crazy. That's all. When you're black, you understand the reality. All right, when the hammer comes down, it's gonna come down fucking hard on these guys. So there was a train that was coming into the town, Baltimore and Ohio train, and John stops the train from passing through the town, obviously, because they don't want word to get out or anything. But then he hops on the train and starts talking to like one of the conductors, and it's like, all right, they're probably fine. I'm not worried about them. And he lets the train go through. The conductor immediately calls back and is like, hey, this town is like way too ethnic right now. Like there's way too many.
Something's going on here.
There's a lot of diversity in this town. I don't know.
And a couple hours after that, the word gets back to D.C. So the president now, the D.C. gets word, so the president knows what's going on, and like the governor of Virginia knows what's going on. And like by the next morning, there's like a train of like soldiers from Baltimore on their way to Kansas to go nip this in the butt. The president, so D.C. sends in the Marines to go handle this. They're being led by
Where are they coming from, by the way? Because it's like Kansas, Virginia.
Well,
these are far away.
Yeah.
These are not
trains to get around. So I don't know.
Yeah, but even still, it's like, okay, the Harpers Ferry thing happened. We got to go get them. All right, send in the guys. Okay, what, 4 days? It's going to be 4 or 5 days probably.
Yeah. I mean, well, so on October 16th, they took it, right? They captured it. On October 18th, the Marines had showed up at the front door. And we're like,
and then they're gone.
We're taking this back.
They're like in a different place.
But before that, before the Marines had showed up, like the local townspeople had like started. The farmers and the local slave supporters were like, they started firing at them and started attacking them. John
at the Marines?
No, at John and his gang. The people in the town who wanted slavery, they started trying to attack John in the raid or whatever.
Yeah, John and his football team, his rec football league that he's got.
He tries to surrender. So he sends his son Oliver out with a white flag to surrender, and they just shot him. They're like,
Jesus.
They're like, fuck this. He sent his son and some other guy out, and they both got shot. Oliver runs back inside, and he's begging his dad to kill him. He's like, please kill me. This hurts so bad. Just end this suffering.
Yeah. Ow, ow, ow.
The white flag kid?
Yeah, the white flag kid was like...
That also sucks to be like John Brown, I guess, sent out the kid with the flag.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, you're my favorite son. I got a job for you.
Yeah.
You have to go out there to the people. They're pretty pissed. They're going to be like, hey... Just tell them, just wait. It's a T-shirt, okay? Maybe the T-shirt was like gray. It wasn't even like white. That's why they shot him.
That was the problem.
It was like the wrong color. It's like, look, we don't have a white flag, but this is a red T-shirt that says "fuck you" on it.
It'll work fine. Trust me.
Don't worry. It's the same. You just wave it and be like, "Our bad." Yeah.
So Oliver is begging his dad to kill him. He's like, please. And John says no. John says, if you die, you must die like a man. And then 2 minutes later, he dies. So he watched his son suffer to death. October 18th, like I said, the Marines had showed up at the fort. They're being led by Robert E. Lee. That's the general, the colonel in charge.
There's a comedian by the name of Robert E. Lee, by the way. I saw him on a flyer the other day. Just Robert E. Lee.
Damn, you could have definitely changed that.
Yeah, the E? Like, why do you have the E?
Yeah.
What's Bobby Lee's middle name?
E. Bobby
Jeff
Ely.
Z.
Yeah.
Bobby Ely.
Dude, that'd be hilarious.
It's the same. Bobby is short for Robert. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
That's probably why he changed it, because his name is Robert E. Lee.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Robert E. Ali.
Robert E. Reed.
Yeah.
So yeah, they showed up. They broke down the barrier, like the reinforced barriers, with some sledgehammers or whatever. And within 3 minutes, they captured John and all of the guys involved. Altogether, Brown's men, they killed 4 people. They wounded another 9. The 21 of the total that were with Brown, 10 of them were killed, including his sons Watson and Oliver. 5 of them escaped, including his son Owen, and 7 were captured along with John Brown, and they were sent to trial. This was like the first like mega trial in American history because of the telegram. Everyone was able to find out about it. And John, when they captured him, they were like, hey, like he made it a point. The reason why he wasn't the one that waved the flag is because he realized like how valuable he was as a person. He was like, if I'm like the face of this movement, I could like push it farther if I'm alive or whatever. So he does like a bunch of interviews while he's captured. He talks to everybody. He writes like I think like 2 books on the matter or something like that. Nice. Doesn't matter. His trial was like 3 hours long. Obviously he's guilty by law. He is guilty.
He literally did it.
He did it.
He did do it.
And so he didn't give any last words. He wrote a quote down and handed it off. And the quote said, "I, John Brown, am now quite certain that the crimes of this guilty land will never be purged away but with blood. I had, as I think, vainly flattered myself that without very much bloodshed it might be done." He's pretty much saying the only way slavery is going to be ended is through force and blood. And he was right, because less than 2 years later, the Civil War starts. After Abraham Lincoln is elected president, the South secedes, Civil War breaks out, the bloodiest time in American history. 620,000 guys are killed over the course of 4 years. But we're free, so it was worth it.
That's way more than 22 or whatever that guy brought down the house with.
God, it's so very funny. He just stormed that. He's like, all right, if we get here, we get to the guns, we're good. And they do it. They get the guns, and they're just like, what are you guys doing?
What are 20 guys going to do with 100,000 guns? Really, you just need, like, you got to change your plan. That's really what it is. It's like, okay, we're going to raid this armory with 2,500 guys. That's why we need to get into this building that has all these guns, so then we can arm all the 2,500 guys. Okay, we got 21 guys. So let's just go to a gun store and pick up 20 guns.
Yeah, they probably all had guns on. Like they couldn't.
Yeah.
Why do you need to? They're like, well, we got to get dual wield.
Well,
we got to go dual wield load out.
The plan was that once they get to the armory, was that now they had the weapons to supply all the slaves who were.
Oh, okay.
But
that's what they were going for.
But they never. There was no carrier pigeon. There wasn't like a.
No.
Like a giant fire. There was no way to signal.
Yeah, were they going to mail them?
Yeah.
They were going to tuck them in a big envelope?
Yeah, the slaves were just at work. They couldn't get off that day.
Yeah.
They did telegram out saying like, hey, we started our whatever. But, slaves can't read telegrams. Only white people can read those. So.
Could you read this to the slaves? Just don't worry about what it says, but just say that stuff there. We're going to kill all the slave owners. Just, yeah.
So all he did was just warn. He pretty much just said, "Hey, this is what I'm like." He just exposed himself to his enemies, and So it was a poor plan in that regard.
Yeah, it seems dumb as hell.
But you gotta respect the effort.
This guy rules, but the execution of his sick plans seems to always fail.
He can't run a business. Can't run a proper raid.
Can't get a hot chick. That's for sure.
That's for damn sure.
Only plain bitches for this guy.
Yeah.
17 is
it's 17, but it doesn't say any description about her, which is less than plain.
17 by itself.
Plain is a description to be like, she's at least this level of hot. If you're just like, she's 17, so that's the only thing you're going to talk about.
Because back then,
she's going to be 23 soon, and just wait. I'm investing in my future.
Yeah. Well, back then, 17 was a college girl. So
Yeah,
it
for
would be
sure.
like right if you were dating.
Also, girls didn't go to college back then.
Yeah, but looks wise,
Yeah,
she was a hot.
Yeah.
That would be like right now. You're dating if you were dating an ugly, disgusting college girl. If someone asked you who's your girlfriend, you're like, yeah, dude, just a college chick. That's all you'd say.
She's in a sorority.
She's 17.
Yeah.
That's the same. That's the equivalent.
Yeah. That's very funny.
I mean, that was pretty much. I mean, to this day, his legacy is that people are. He's like divided. Even back then, a lot of people loved him. Obviously, a lot of people hated him. But is he a hero or is he America's first terrorist?
See, this is why he's Batman.
Yeah.
Because what's Batman say? He's the guy.
Vengeance or whatever.
No, not
he's,
the hero.
Yeah,
City needs right now. Or
he's like the hero that the city
deserves.
Or no, the villain that it needs now, or I don't know, whatever.
He's that quote.
It's like he was good but bad also, and people were like divided on whether he's good or bad.
Yeah,
and then he rides off into the night into his cave.
Yeah,
which that guy also has.
I mean, slavery is obviously like evil. It's bad. But like, what if he was alive? This was a question I saw. Was like, if he was alive today, what if he was like really pro-trans? What would he be like? What would he do? Would he go to doctors and kill them if they don't?
He would raid a Target and get another bathroom built in there. Probably that's probably what he would do.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
So, is he a hero or is he a?
Yeah, I'm for it.
Yeah,
it
seems pretty sick, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like the Civil War and like that kind of stuff doesn't happen without this guy's story. You know what I mean? Like you need a story like that to kind of fuel
literally, because I mean, a lot of people like Brown's raid was like that was like the big spark that caused Civil War.
George Floyd. That was George Floyd.
He was George Floyd, dude.
Yeah.
That was the name of the guard that they killed at the gate.
I should have had
Oh god damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like him. He's my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. I like
He seems pretty sick,
I
dude.
think he's definitely invited to the cookout. I don't know how he's not.
Yeah.
He's definitely the hardest working like white person in history, like to get black approval or whatever.
Just don't listen to him on how many people he says he's going to bring to the show. If he's like, guys, let me headline the show, I'm going to bring. Get a theater because it's going to be sold the fuck out. Get a 2,500 seat theater, okay? Do not do it in like a small back room at a shitty bar.
Fourth wall isn't gonna cut it.
Yeah. No.
What? This room holds 20 people. Not a chance. Dude.
We need 2,500 minimum.
I wonder if he was like those showrunners who like don't ever acknowledge that the show sucks. No, people.
He's definitely that.
They're filling in. Don't worry, the people are filling in.
He's 100% that. He's like, damn, this is like crazy. This is like the worst show we've ever had. Although it's like exactly like every other show we've ever had.
Normally it's packed, dude.
Normally it's packed, and by packed I mean there's 5 people instead of 4. And there's 4 people because my girlfriend is not coming this time. Because she's plain and she's dead from birthing 19 kids who would all be here, but they're not here because not even my family wants to support my ideas.
Yeah. And out of these 4 people in the audience, 3 of them actually are my kids.
Yeah, 3 of them are some of my 25 kids. Yeah. Yeah, he does seem like kind of like a comical misfit of a guy. Like if you look at all the things that he did in his life, none of it went according to plan at all. Right?
Yeah.
The bank stuff, like
that is the funniest one.
Yeah, that's
so just fumbled the bag. Literally fumbled the bag. He's like Michael Scott if he was a abolitionist or something like that.
He did he never gave up though. You got to give him that.
Working for a bank and then losing the bank's money is bonkers because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to work where money is, and then you have to tell your boss, hey, there's no money here anymore. You know that big vault that all the money's in? We got nothing in there,
about
dude.
That, dude.
I put a bunch of IOUs like Dumb and Dumber in there. Those are cool. We can give those out, I swear. Yeah. What a goofball, dude. But he rules.
Lovable goofball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I would have did things a little differently probably, but
What would you have done differently?
I don't know.
25 people at the raid, or
I mean, I freak out over shoebox like not having.
he'd be so mad at the raid. He's like, God damn it,
we're never doing this again.
Jeez, this sucks. There's only one guard at the gate. It's not going to be a problem with the 21 people we have. Fuck that. This still sucks. This is still terrible.
Never doing this again.
Yeah.
Next month, plants another raid.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that was did you learn anything? Did y'all feel?
Oh, dude, that was great.
Yeah, I learned everything, dude.
That was amazing. And you know how they say like history repeats itself?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there was ever a Batman in history, but it is a story that has been told.
Yeah.
And it seems to keep repeating itself.
A tale as old as time. Dude.
Yeah. And several stories repeated themselves, right? We got Batman. We got Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah,
We got George Floyd.
George Floyd, yeah. We got the targets being burned down.
Yeah. The AutoZones and the targets. Yeah. My favorite was AutoZone. That was the funniest. Because it's like, why?
What did AutoZone do, dude?
Yeah. Oh. Fucking tires. Get the fuck out of here. Take your car detailing kits and die.
This is gonna be shown to 9 people.
No, dude. This last
Yeah, but
video,
that's how
views,
it starts.
baby.
That's how our podcast started. Our podcast started with a dumb idea that no one saw. Our podcast wasn't even a real podcast. It was a fake podcast. We were literally making clips like this, but like pretending it was a podcast.
That's actually funny though.
And then we did like probably like 9 or 10 clips. And then I got enough messages that were like, where's the full podcast? And I kept having to be like, it's fake. It's not a real podcast. There's no such thing as this podcast. And then that happened enough times. I was like, okay, I guess we have to try to make 2 woke boys.
It is a very
actual
fun podcast to listen to.
Yeah.
It's in the clips y'all put out when people think you guys are being serious.
God, it's so funny.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
You do play it very well.
Thanks, dude.
The sarcastic, but I'm also convincing.
Yeah.
And then Malcolm with his over the top shit, it is very funny.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I will, when I get better at talking, I will come on. You see how many times I fucked up? I can't talk. See, I got a weird voice.
I feel like you did that great. I was actually very impressed with your, like, I was very interested in the story as you got deeper into it, and it got more exciting, and I was like, couldn't wait to hear what was going on next.
Good.
That was great. That was fantastic.
Well,
dude.
that's how you do research. So take a note.
This is what I mean. He gets all mean all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I'm not being mean. I'm being.
You're still mean over the gay thing this morning.
I feel
When
like
you
That
thought you
was
were gay.
fucked up. Why don't you tell the crowd what you did?
Oh, I this morning I thought it'd be funny to text Ben, and I said, just out of the blue, I'm like, look, man, I just gotta ask you, are you gay? Don't make it weird. I'm being 100% serious. Don't joke about this. I just want to know, are you gay? I'm not judging you.
okay, and this is to tie this to the podcast. Ben's brain is very much like the armory with 100,000 guns guarded by one man. And you came in with 20 dudes.
We disrupted.
Yeah, and fucking destroyed it.
Yeah, we burned that place down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said. Yeah, what'd you say?
It doesn't take much to rock me, but yeah, that rocked me because I was like, no, I'm not gay, but then I was like, wait, do I look like a closeted gay guy? Like, am I giving off the vibe of someone who like doesn't accept that he's gay? And I looked in the mirror. I was like, do I look like a gay guy?
Who am I? Am I gay?
I did the whole. I was like, am I gay for half? And I was like, no, I hate them. That's what
He said he was gonna offer to do the podcast on Zoom today.
That's how not gay he is. That was him.
Dude, he thought it was like uncomfortable or something.
Yeah.
I was the only reason
I mean,
was
this
like,
is 3 dudes sitting on a couch. It's pretty gay.
you're like
It
the
is.
size of 2 guys. So.
I know. That's also gay. And
But
then
we all
your
have the
dog
hair
is a
of
boy
women.
too, right?
Yeah.
That's gay.
He doesn't have balls though. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of gay. That's gayer
dude.
actually.
That's gay.
Yeah, to be a dude and not have balls is gayer than having balls.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What do you call a female who's becoming a man?
Gay.
I don't know.
That's a man with no balls, right?
Okay. I don't know.
All right,
I thought that was like
A knock joke.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke. That it was like had a thing. It
Yeah.
was
What do you
not
call a girl with
it was
no balls?
It was a philosophical question that he was really looking for an answer.
You called them brave and an icon. That's what I call them.
Nice.
beautiful.
Because I'm
There
woke
you
and
go.
supportive.
We like that.
Should we plug stuff? Should we end it here?
Yeah, let's plug. Hit plugs. What do you got, Jeff?
You're the only one with actual fucking shows.
Follow me, Jeff Zenisek, on all social media platforms. Facebook, or sorry, not Facebook. I mean, sure, do Facebook if you want, but I'm not going to be on there. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and follow my show, Two Woke Boys, also on all those platforms and anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's TOO, Woke Boys.
Relax and Laugh on Instagram. Almost History Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. If you're in LA, come to the Comedy Store on Wednesday for Fahim's show. I'll be on that. I'll bomb. That'll be rough. Yeah.
Logan J. Quiroz, Instagram, TikTok. My other podcast, Sets and Reps, fitness podcast with Nick Simmons. That's it. Hell yeah.
What a mild way to end it out.
Well, we used our energy in the fucking middle, dude. Now we got to go see Avatar
on shrooms. I'm gonna cry in the theater.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot, dude.
I might run out. The theater.
Oh, yeah.
I might just be like, I can't.
Might raid the popcorn stand.
All right, let's get out of here. We're done. Thank you.
Later.
Peace.